Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the channel. Leo here. And I guess as y'all can see, we are about neck deep here in southern Appalachia, out in the mountains again, looking for an old graveyard, which I found. But now we've got to document said old graveyard. Now this place here is, like I said, it's undocumented. All of these graves here, every one of them pretty much, more or less has kind of been lost to time. So pretty much anyone that we find here today is going to be someone who does not have a find a grave listing, doesn't have a picture up, doesn't have a location. There's a problem, you know, with everything here and everyone here. I came out here today looking for two young ladies. Excuse me, sorry about that. The ATV going up in the mountains over there. Came out here today to look for two ladies in particular, and we found them. So now it's time to document the rest of this old graveyard. And we'll let the there he goes. Let him get on down the road. But anyway, we are out here today looking for old graves. I found the two young ladies that I came here to find, and since I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and document this old graveyard, climb the mountain, you know, the stickers, the briars, the whatever, and find as many as I can. A lot of these are just old stones, and the gentleman who owns this land, I came up looking for the graveyard. I spoke to him. He was telling me that back behind his barn, which is right down over there, that there was all kinds, and you can see them all over the place here, all kinds of old graves that are just stones. No names, no dates, just field stones like these, just sticking up out of the ground. So I figured we'd kind of take a look at some of this real quick. And the other side down over in there has more modern graves, more modern headstones with names and dates and things. But I just figured we would start our little search on this side. I see a deer stand and a feeder up there. Well, somebody's coming up through here. They're all over. There's one. Here's a couple. 4. One by that tree, one by that tree there, and here as well. Look at that one. Well, walking right across one. Didn't even see that one. But look at that. He said, "Don't worry about my dogs. They're all tied up." Okay, I see fence posts, presumably the edge of the old cemetery. Old chain link fence, or not chain link, a wire fence going up through there. Okay, that must be the back edge. Kind of look around a little bit just to see what we see here. There's a baby's grave. You can tell the stones are real close together. The more modern graveyard is right down over the hill. Wow, it's hard to imagine. There's a lot of people buried back here. Look at this. Head, foot, head, foot. They're all over. See that a lot in these old Appalachian graveyards here, where there'll just be a stone and no name. Mostly just for the family so they'll know where everyone is. You guys see the fence going down? There's a post there. I don't don't see any more, but I see a piece of fence right there. So that must be off of the graveyard. Let's go take a look. See, here's one right here. Very woodsy, isn't it? This is just someone's hunting site. Look how pretty though. Look how pretty that is. I hear the dogs. It's a good sight. I prefer my stand to be a little higher. I'd probably go for that tree. Okay. Back down below the fence posts. I think the neighborhood dogs know I'm up here. Something's up here. They probably think it's a bear. Alright, fence post right there. And I can see another one down there. And going this way. So, presumably that, and going out through that way, is the boundary of the graveyard. But we'll look at some of these old stones real quick. And then head down into the more modern one. But you can almost be guaranteed that these are probably mid 1800s and up, and down there is much more modern. Well, gotta be careful. Walk right over them if you're not careful. See, look at that one. Right on the path. Headstone, footstone. There's three. There's two people here. Here's one. Another one directly in line. Here's the baby's grave. We spotted on the way up. See how close they are? That stone and that one. That's a child's grave. You see those a lot. Back in the day, it was very common. There's one too, almost missed. It was very common to lose a bunch of children. My grandmother had 9 and 3 lived. You go around these, that's a plot. That's a plot there, you can see the stones. Okay, which way is the best? Out through the trees right here. Okay, that's all I saw out that way. What about this way? It's a little steeper down through here, but I saw, ouch, I saw earlier, I thought I saw some stones over here. Where's the barn? Yeah, this is graveyard too. I can see a sunken spot there where one's collapsed. Yeah, here too, and here. Down there, down there. This is definitely an old graveyard here. Yeah, he said behind the barn. That's the barn right there. I don't see any more. Okay. We'll head back down now. When we get through here, we'll head back down. And a straight shot. Whoa, look at that. Almost missed one. There's a headstone and sunk right here, sunk in. Almost missed that one. Funerary flowers. So I see fence post there. Just take a look inside that. Let's see what we see. Whoa. Look at that one. That has completely collapsed in. You can tell these are old ones because, you know, these predate vaults and things like that. They used old pine boxes. And once the box rots, it'll collapse in. And that's why you don't see a lot of headstones on a lot of these old graves too. They put up wooden crosses. And the wooden crosses don't last but just a few years. Realistically, it's mostly for family. They weren't really thinking of generations and generations down, you know, just like us. When we bury someone, you're not thinking 10, 15 generations down the line. You know, you're thinking about the person you just lost. But I don't see any more there. I can see one fence post here, one there. I see the line. Okay, and right over there is where it went up. So this is just barely inside the line. But look at that. That whole thing is just completely collapsed in. All right, where are we going? Yeah, we'll get that one first. That was one of the ladies we did the story about, since we're right here. Right here, this is Sully, Canada. Born in 1903 and died in 1947. That's our footstone. Unknown. And there's an unknown as well. There's a bunch of them. Okay, let me go down here to the beginning of the more modern section, and we'll start there. Okay, this right here is Dolly Copley, 1895 to 1962, and J. Logan Copley, 1884 to 1955. And we'll get a little bit closer, but you go down this little hill here and you're right on top of them if you do. Very pretty day though, isn't it? Just look at those trees. Well, here's one unmarked. What's left of a solar light or something. Huh. There's a lot of them unmarked. W.M. McKinley Little, 1901-1962. Look at that one. 2 posts, and they're just about gone. I was saying about people using wooden crosses. Here we go. This one is Rebecca Sloan, 1887 to 1965. See, a lot of people back then, they used stuff like that. It just says Billy Joe 1970. And, you know, those obviously they don't last but 2 or 3 years. And it's gone. But this is James Steele, 1899 to 1968. And Lucy Steele, 1909 to 2003. Let's get these here, and then we'll work our way up the hill. There's a vet. Okay, only one of these has a marker. You can see there's 3 here. There's a sunken spot. There's a rock right there indicating a center one. And then this one over here. This one's a vet. This is Leslie Robinson, U.S. Army. PFC U.S. Army. 1920. So it looks like 19. Can't really tell. It's got a leaf on it and it's locked. Von Seal, V-O-N-C-E-A-L, triplet, 1938 to 1997. This one has no name, just says Mom, has a cross on it. Let's fix the butterfly. I usually don't mess with them, but you know, I have a mom too. Have. Okay, this is Lucy Prince, 1900 to 1974. Don't see any right through there. Wouldn't be surprised, but I don't see. Yeah, I do too. Sunken spot. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. Oh, the rest of this is probably people too. Most likely. Strange, isn't it? You know, you realize the ground you're walking on has people under it. Here's a couple. Just field stones there and there. That one's got some kind of symbols on it. It's not letters, I don't think. Can't read it, whatever it is. There's one. Back here's one. It just says SL. That one there, one there. There's a whole bunch, whole row right through there, under the weeds and brush. This is Samuel Wright, 1887 to 1969. Bertha W. Meadows, 1910 to 1968. UP, that's all it says. I can see some more back there. And that one's Mary back there. That's the one the other one we came for today. And like I said, this one not locked, just closed. Big difference. This is Mary E. Dove, 1922 to 1965. Thomas Craig Dove, 1975 to 2001. There's a picture. There's a picture of Thomas. Nathan Lee Dove. He looks like Thomas. 1984 to 2008. He was a young man. I see why he has a young family in the picture. He was a young man. And that's Mary. That's the other one that we came to find today. Better. We're getting there. We got a few more plots to go. And this old undocumented cemetery won't be undocumented anymore, will it? Kenneth Curry, 1965 to 19, it looks it's worn off. I can see 1965 birth year, but the death year is worn out. It looks like 1950 something, but it can't be. A lot of times when you'll do those, you'll find another Curry or something and link them together, and it'll kind of give you a lot of information too. Father J. Wallace Priest, 1903 to 1966. Okay, that's his. This is someone else. This looks like a child here as well, because there's only a short distance from the trail. You can see the footstones right here. I believe it's a child, probably. Okay, there's one here that's unmarked. These are all diagonal. You notice that? They're not straight. Those are the same way too. This is Okie L. Southers, 1908 to 1992. Margaret L. Southers, 1915 to 1985. Michael Southers, this is Ricky above it. Michael Southers, 1957-1981. And Gregory G. Southers, 1951 to 2016. Well, some of these are much more recent up here. A lot of leaves. But there's a lot less weeds than there were just a few weeks ago. This is Brenda Faye Russell, 1956 to 2016. John D. Smith, 1934 to 1985. Oh, white, that's a World War II. Oh, World War I. It's a World War I grave. Ooh. Ooh. Squeaky. Pull that out a little bit. This is Joseph White, 1903 to 1988. It's a homemade stone. That's a nice one, isn't it? And look, they've put the plaque up on posts. Joseph White. Oh, it's World War II. Private U.S. Army, World War II. 1908, 1988. I don't see any more in here. Been kind of scanning the hillside too as I go, just to make sure there's nothing, you know, back behind them. I try to not miss people. Kind of glance back here just a little bit. At least take a look. I don't see any field stones sticking up. Don't see any yucca plants or sunken spots or anything to indicate any more graves back there. Okay. Preston Howard Jr., 1924 to 2014. This seems like 14 is, you know, not that long ago, but yeah, it is. Time flies. When you're young, you think you got all the time in the world. You can't wait to grow up. Once you grow up, you realize you were very smart. Wishing that. Looks like the last few. This is Sammy Ritz, R-I-T-Z, 1939-2011. Paul Layne, 1948-2012. And last but not least, Virginia Phillips, 1925 to 2012. Somebody's brought up a lot of rocks. Somebody put a lot of work into that, didn't they? I don't know if they dug them out or brought them. Probably just dug them out, didn't they? Let's see. I think that is the end. I do believe. I see a little road there. Okay, I think it's just a logging gas well. Something like that. I don't see any graves or anything. Okay. Man, it looks really pretty, don't it? For a graveyard, you know, as far as a graveyard goes, I think it's kind of pretty. You know, if you're going to have to rest somewhere forever, it's as good a place as any. It's quiet, peaceful. Every now and then a side-by-side or something. But generally speaking, it'd just be you and some squirrels and some deer. Forever. Don't sound too bad as far as, you know. We've seen graveyards with train tunnels going underneath them before. I don't know about that one. I think something like this, in my opinion, would probably be much better. That's what I was wondering about right there. What does that go to? But I guess it don't go to anything. It looks like the graveyard ends here. Man, just look at those trees. That's not pretty. Yellows and greens and oranges, and very pretty. They'll all be bare soon and the snow will be flying. But that's okay. That's when the best time to get out here and look for these, you know. Once the weeds kind of die down a little bit, you can actually get out here and find things without running into too many snakes. But anyway, guys, I guess that covers another old hillbilly graveyard. And everyone that we found, like I said, we'll update all of their records and more or less let the family know where they're at, so to speak. Anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all coming along with me today and keeping me company out here documenting an old graveyard, roaming the mountains and just doing what we do. Well, we're almost back down to the backpack, my little base down there by the fence. So I guess we may as well say goodbye until next time, guys. We'll see y'all a little bit later. Y'all have a really good day. And until next time, Hillbillies out.